And this is an example of the crosswalk intervention. We wanted to have something along the street as much as possible to make that visual connection between the city and the university. And what we're gonna do is have the city provide the crosswalk, so the white stripes that you see that they will normally go back and do after the overlay, that will be in kind by the city. And then we are actually going to get the cowbells made in thermoplastic, so the same material, but our portion of the work would be the cowbell and the arm. And then for the street mural, we have two, one on North Nash Street. And so again, the crosswalks would be in kind by the city, and the rest would be our community to paint. We're doing the cowbells and the arms, again, in the thermoplastic, and the background colors in street paint. This is the second and the largest street mural right before you cross the bridge on University Drive toward the Hunter Henry Center. And so again, the cowbells would be in the thermoplastic, and the background colors would be the street paint. So that's the scope of the work. Again, the goal is to strengthen the community ties. We do have a really wonderful option. Bloomberg has a great program in terms of promoting this project nationally, so I think it'll bring the community a lot of great exposure. They've also contacted us about having a national news source come and feature the project, so we're working with them on that. And I think it's gonna be a great opportunity to involve the community. I'm here to answer questions if you have any.
Okay. Any questions of anybody? I think you're gathering funds from various and sundry sources.
That's right.
So what is the total cost of your project, and how much do you have? How far down the road are you? Let's put it that way.
Well, so we've gotten about $43,000, and we're estimating $25,000 to $75,000 in materials and supply costs based on using the combination of thermoplastic, which will last so much longer, and then the street paint. And then one thing I didn't mention, but our design administration costs, we're donating that. So all the funds will be used just for materials and supplies.
Have you gotten supply or material and supply quotes? You were going to do that when you talked to
Yes,
OC
we
Board.
did. And so we've gotten an estimate of about $20,000 for just the cowbell portion of the crosswalks.
And not the murals?
Right.
Okay. And I know you were going to do like a volunteer, have a party to do
That's
some
right.
painting?
That's right.
So it'd be kind of an event?
Right, so this next week, we should be able to finalize the budget and the costs and the fundraising efforts. I know we're still working with one entity to finalize the funding.
Yeah, I think OCEDA is probably going to have
Yes.
some funds
I
there.
talked to Mike about that.
Okay.
And so then we'll be able to finalize the date in July and announce that and get the community involved.
We can all get out there with a paintbrush. That'd be fun.
Have you seen me paint?
No, but paint in the lines. It's paint in the lines. Okay, any other questions? Anyone? Anyone? Okay. Well, thank you, Leah.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Do you mind sending the PowerPoint, and everybody will have a chance to take a look at it? Okay, cool. Thank you so much. All right. And in the interest of making sure that Alderman Vaughn can get where he needs to go, we'll go through this agenda here really quickly. We have a couple sets of minutes. Mr. Latimer, have you looked at those? Are those ready for consent opportunity?
They are, Mayor.
All right. Is that good with everyone? Consent for those two sets of minutes? Okay. I think there may be some introductions. I think Nab is waiting to tell me that at some point, but right now I don't have any comments, anything anyone wants memorialized in that. No? Okay. We will have one public appearance. Will be Ms. Shine has requested to come forward regarding need more community concerns associated with, I believe, the park, and so they will be there and have their 10 minutes. Then we have 3 public hearings. There you are, Mr. Haviland.
Yes, first public hearing is for special exception request 22-05. That is a request to increase the density of the 8-12 apartments. And the only reason the density is increasing, they're taking their 4-bedroom units and dividing it into 2 units, one bedroom, one 2-bedroom, so they have a net increase. That went to the Planning and Zoning Commission, and they voted unanimously to recommend approval of that.
Okay, so we will have a public hearing on that and then have the consideration at that time.
Actually, less people then, it sounds like, but more units.
Yes, it's less bedrooms, but more units.
Okay.
And it also helps with their parking. Their parking actually comes into compliance because of the lowering of
Right, okay. Parking, what in compliance?
it was in compliance at the time it was built, but not in current use.
Remember, we changed that one-bedroom business.
Yeah, it used to be one per certain amount of square footage regardless of number of bedrooms.
Okay. All right, and then the second one is the place type maps.
Yes, and I've got some images.
Is it academic or
It should be just right in the
community development?
city plan folder, yes. So as you know, the comprehensive plan was originally adopted in December of 2016, and then it was revised in October of 2019 for the adoption of the UDC later that year. And the only change that's going to occur in this place type map update of the comprehensive plan is just changing the city limit lines. And so this is just an overall map. You can see the old city limit lines, new city limit lines. All the place types that are underlying stay exactly the same. None of that's being proposed to change, just to update the actual map. And so there's a total of 24 images on pages 45 through 72. This is just a side-by-side comparison of what's currently in there and what's being proposed. I know it's small, but you can tell there's nothing else changing with just that image. You can scroll through the next three. And so this leads into the next public hearing, which is on the zoning designations for the annexation area. These two public hearings go together, but the comprehensive plan stuff must come first. So what you can see here is the image on the left is a blow up of the place type map of the annexation area. The image on the right is proposed zoning for the annexation area. So you can see how closely they relate to each other. Like this place type converts straight into that type of zone. That place type converts into that type of zone. You can go to the next image. So what you have in your packet is this map, which shows 3 areas, so that's easier to see on that size sheet. And then each area is kind of blown up. So for this area example, this is Highway 82 where Highway 12 intersects it. The RN designation is rural neighborhood, which is fitting to what's underlying underneath it. And then you have a commercial rural designation at Taxation Road. As you come across, there's kind of some commercial uses that are going on there currently. And so it's just changing the zoning for that to continue to happen. You also have a small pod of commercial that's going on Old West Point Road, just on the north side of 82. Go to the next. This is the intersection of 182 and 82. So right at the intersection is mainly regular C commercial, which is similar to what we have in the Highway 12 district. And then the commercial rural, as you get further down 182, that designation is similar to what we have on Highway 182 on the west side of town, Louisville all the way south. So and if you go through that area, they look similar. So the requirements be similar in those areas. And then the residential areas are just rural neighborhood. This is on the Eastleigh Boulevard area. So you have existing neighborhoods that are real similar to an SD2 type neighborhood. That's a single dwelling, 2 units per acre. So the lot size fits right into that type of zoning. And then the areas right next to campus, we go to a form-based district, which is similar to the hot district. And then on Old Bayview Road on the north side is MDU 9, that's multi-dwelling unit per acre. There's already some apartments that are out there that are pretty much meet that density requirement, so it's just a continuation of what's there. And then south of that, you have that large complex, that's MDU 20, which is 20 units per acre, and that's appropriate for what's currently existing. And then along the 182 corridor is the C commercial. Next one. So this would be the resulting new map if adopted, which shows the annexation area and kind of changes the format of it, but as you can see, it covers the whole city.
Okay. And P&Z has looked at this, and you've had public input
P&Z has not
sessions.
looked at this yet. They have a
That's
special
right, I'm
call
sorry, it's
meeting
the
on the
20th.
20th, where they will open up a public hearing and then a discussion on the issue.
But you had public input sessions,
We had 2 input sessions on Wednesday of last week.
okay? And had, what, all of 2 folks?
Had 1 at each session.
One at each
was during the
session.
day, and 1 was after hours.
Okay, so we have done, yes, sir?
Oh, you sensed I had a question.
No, I saw your finger go up.
Daniel, saw the zoning materials, the side-by-side comparisons about the changes in the comp plan, that's also in the board packets.
That is done.
Can we put that in the board packets?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Anyone have any questions of Mr. Haviland about either one? Obviously, we'll be having public hearings on this, and then the consideration at that point in time would be appropriate if the board so desires. So, no questions? Thank you, Mr. Haviland. And before you go, let's just flip over real quick, because the only other thing you've got is the memorandum of agreement with the Archives and History.
Yes, that's just a continuation of that project. This is
Right.
the publication piece. We've already done the grant for the research portion. This is the publication.
Okay, all right, thank you. We can address it when we get to it, but I just want to make sure while you were up, we could look at that. Okay, under mayor's business, call for 2 public hearings for the redistricting. So this is a call for the public hearing. We will have a public hearing at the first meeting in July, and then at the second meeting in July, we will have the second public hearing, and then the opportunity to adopt, and Toby will be available at that point in time. So, consent for calling for the public hearing? All right, thank you. Under board business, we have the consideration of the resolution, and Mr. Latimer, you and Ms. Sistrunk have been sort of working through this bonding process. So you want to take this, is there anything in here that is unusual that we need to know?
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to it, and I'll talk about both of these because they're side by side.
Yes.
Because you may have a question about, well, why are there 2 things? The first item, item A, just closes out the protest period and authorizes issuance ultimately of a not to exceed 10 million in your discretion. The second item authorizes and directs issuance of 5 million as a first series. So that's what that does. And that was in consultation with Alderman Sistrunk that the best thing to do would be a not to exceed 5 million as a first series. And then if any other is needed, you guys could do a second series at a later date.
Right, and if
So is
every,
it up to 5 million?
Yes, ma'am.
So, okay, not
And-
a flat million. Okay.
sorry, and as everyone recalls, this is for our street projects, the bigger street projects that we talked about being able to go ahead and get done and have an impact.
Both bond issues?
Yes.
So
One is the closing out the period of the 10 million that we approved, 30 days ago? And the next one is actually issuance of 5 million. So it would be in $5 million tranches. It seems to be the popular word these days for a lot of money. But yes. Yes, ma'am.
And the point being that this authorizes the issuance, we are not planning to go to market right now. It's a little hinky at the moment.
It's a technical
That's
term.
a technical term. And also, we don't need the money right now. So, but this positions us to go to market at some point in the future, and we'll certainly keep the board appraised when we are ready to go to the market. So keep your bond underwriters, tell them to keep their powder dry. We're not going to market right now.
Let me ask a question, because I want to make sure on this. We've already gone through the process to authorize the issuance of the $10 million, no.
No. So it's one bond issuance is all we're talking about. So y'all have done a resolution of intent. That's the first step. for
That's
10
10
million.
million.
And we're going to authorize to go ahead and issue and go out for sale
So
for the
there's
first $5 million, is that right?
Correct. So there's 3 steps in any bond
Gotcha.
issuance. There's the resolution of intent.
Right.
There's the resolution authorizing, and then there's the resolution directing, so 3. And so the first item just authorizes the 10 million. The second resolution directs the 5 million out the door when the market is right.
So this $5 million is within that $10 million?
Correct.
Okay.
And what we will do is we will bring forward with Ms. Williams and Cody and whoever, and Edward possibly, since he was part of getting that together, that street project, and see of that what we're going to do next year with the 5 million.
Now, within that planning process, and I think it needs to be in here before it's in a board meeting, planning process, we get Edward, utility department, and we get our city engineer all in here at the same time on the same page. and we
They've
all
already
get on
done
the same
that.
page.
They've already done that.
No, but I mean us too.
Well, I'm just saying, yes, but we don't want to sit in here and listen to them talk about things they've already done. I mean, things they haven't done. We want to talk about the things that they have done, which is they've already looked at each street and each underlaying infrastructure element that you're concerned about, like the water lines and the sewer lines. So they're going to bring that to us. It's what they've looked at, what's appropriate, what we should delay based on, infrastructure, the communication you were just done talking about with the applicants.
And at that point in time, we add the policy piece to the thing, right?
Well, they hopefully have already added the policy piece thing
Well, I
to
mean,
it.
what I'm saying is though, in the prioritization stuff.
Yes, we can look at what they're talking about.
Okay.
And we will do it in a work session, so, okay. All right, can we go consent on those? Okay. All right, thank you, appreciate it. All right, airport, anything, Mr. Lincoln, that we need to know about this grant, other than approval of the grant?
There's 9,000 matching funds.
Okay, all right.
Where's it going now?
The South Anchor ramp is extended, the ramp down there, they're doing a seal coat overlay of everything, and the rocks, hitting the rocks down there. It's just crumbling.
And we've got the funds to do that. So consent for that one?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Consideration of the memorandum, that was the thing that Daniel just spoke about. Consent for that one. Engineering, lowest bid for traffic signal poles. We're very excited that it came in under bid. So consideration of acceptance of those, consent for those.
And do we have a general time frame for receipt?
This summer, I believe. Oh, there you are. Sorry, Mary's.
The low bid on this, they said material would be delivered within 10 to 12 weeks after approval.
Wow,
So
that's like.
sooner than we
warp
thought.
speed.
Yep, we're pretty excited, so, be able to get those rolling. Claims docket and then acceptance of the financials, we're good with those? Consent for acceptance of the financials? Okay. And HR, we can take this up at the next board meeting for hiring, and, we can have that discussion at that point in time. Authorization to hire Tyler Peters as a GIS coordinator. Mr. Ashford, you're in here. Anything that you wish to share with us about any of these? These are filling vacant positions, is that correct?
Replacement positions.
It's all replacement positions. So Tyler Peters is a GIS coordinator for utilities, Marco Ferguson, grounds tech for sanitation, Tychoris Jones, maintenance worker for sanitation, David Dosher, entry-level firefighter, and then Rusty Bushelon as airport operations manager. Any issues with any of that? Just going consent for filling positions? Any issues? Okay. Consent for 1, 2 through 6. And parks. These are lowest quotes for concession stand equipment. These are the things that we're rounding out and finishing out the things that we have to make Cornerstone and the Sportsplex area ready for play.
And this stays within the amount that we had approved.
Yes.
earlier.
Yes. That's my understanding, and he's not here today to do that, but I will
I'll
verify.
follow up, too.
Okay, all right. Lowest quotes for various Cornerstone Park concession stand equipment, and that is, we still have about 125, I think, in contingency. So still within that range. And then you have looked, Chris, you have looked at the weather system.
Yes, ma'am, it's ready for the board's consideration.
Okay, and if y'all recall, that was something we had last year that they were putting in that system. So can we consent for those?
Yes.
Okay. And let's see, turning the page, a gym divider, advertising for a gym divider. That's to allow maximum use of the Sportsplex, so we'll see what those come in at, and we may or may not, we'll see how it goes. We're just not sure what it's gonna cost. But advertising is no harm, no foul. Consent, approval of the contract with Ford County for the lights. And this is to go ahead and get that paid for and be done with it. I was able to get with Ford County, and they are waiving the security deposit because they felt like we would be good for our money.
What lights, Mayor?
Out at the Cornerstone.
Okay.
On the street now at the Cornerstone.
Okay.
So, and they're waiting on us to approve this in order to hook us up. I see your
Yes,
hand up
ma'am.
again.
Lisa and I were talking this morning, and it's just a quote, so we're gonna change the word contract to quote.
Okay. Is that what we normally do with Ford County for things? Just a quote?
Yes.
Okay.
It's just, they're not giving, they have not presented us with a formal contract to sign.
Okay, all right, so a quote, all right. And police justice assistance grant, any issues with that? Consent for that? Sanitation, we gotta get some repairs for our Mack truck from the dealer. Anything issue, Chris, there you are. Anything about that we need to know?
No more, and we took it in for a health situation, and they discovered an oil leak on it, and took the repair, I know it's gonna be close to $7,000.
Okay, all right. Consent for that one. And then utilities, Mr. Kemp, anything about this that you need to share with us?
The first item was the 28 gatekeepers that communicates back and forth from our AMI meters to our main office.
Okay.
All the data associated with those. We're reaching the useful life end of the current ones
And what is the useful life?
About 7 years.
7 years, typical technology kind of life?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're already experiencing some issues with some of them. There's about a 6-month lead time on these, and we've incorporated those in the next year's capital budget. We want to go ahead.
Okay, all right. Consent for that one. Transfer of 14 truck handheld radios from utilities to sanitation, and that's you and Chris coordinating with one another. We consent for that one. And then change order number 1 for the steel price surcharge increase. And that was something that they posed to us that we didn't have in the contract, so we're stuck with it, so. Consent for that one?
Yes.
All right. All right.
Yes,
Yes,
I just
sir.
want to ask, Mr. Kempis and over Springer on this, on street paving. We have a lay-in-place asphalt price for overlays, right?
Yes, sir.
How much do you expect, no way to know, crystal ball, but between this year's contract price for lay-in-place asphalt and next year, what do you expect? I mean, it's gonna lag, but I mean, higher prices on.
Fuel driven.
Actually, Mary may be the person to ask about that. She's
Mary.
been working those projects.
What?
I couldn't tell you, it's all, like Edward said, it's all fuel driven, just whenever the price of fuel does, asphalt price goes up because of that.
Is it a lag? I mean, what fuel prices are we experiencing with fuel prices, crude prices now is gonna affect maybe next year's asphalt? Or will it won't affect this year, or how does that work, you know?
We just,
It'll be closer to time, won't it?
it will, yeah, it depends.
It'll be
on
what now?
when-
Closer to time. So
When we get ready to bid it.
Today's fuel prices won't necessarily impact next summer's asphalt prices.
It's when we would bid next year's project, is the fuel prices at that time drive it.
So asphalt companies are not, they're not like the airlines that buy bulks of huge amounts of fuel that they're buying now based on now prices. It'll affect prices when you buy an airline ticket next summer. So your asphalt companies are not, or
Yeah.
asphalt not produced, they don't have that, use that kind of volume. Okay, so if asphalt prices moderate somewhat, we should see normal type asphalt prices next summer, and not some exorbitant increased amount. You
Knock
know.
on wood.
And if they stay at $5 or whatever, it's gonna hit us pretty good. So Mayor, I'd just say we'd be prepared to whatever can be overlaid this
Yeah.
year with our bond issue and stuff. Let's do it where we don't know that there may be a suspect water line or sewer line that's gonna affect it after we do that.
And we're gonna talk about, that'll be at the next board meeting. So, next work session. Okay. All right, anyone else? Okay, thank you, everyone. We're in adjournment.